Love, that ever-flowing liquid fire of light, ever-expanding and illuminating truth, which is always revealed with wisdom, a spiritual nutrient necessary for vitality that is maintained through selflessness, a filter of ether that aids purity, which is love. Love, a limitless paper lantern floating into infinity on the intentions and actions of initiates of the mysteries. I'm your host, Ross Cessna, and together we are the Spiritual Phoenix. The intent of this show isn't to tell you what to think, but to get you to think and originally articulate yourself in a way that is uplifting. We are the artists of our lives, and let's collectively create a better tomorrow. Now I'd like to take a moment and focus on what we're grateful for today. Today, I'm grateful that I've been able to emotionally upcycle some of my emotions. And what I mean by that is basically take different emotions and repurpose them or reuse them for different means than what they're originally making me feel or how they're originally making me act. And with that, I like to get into a couple quotes. Had I left those images hidden in emotions, I might have been torn to pieces by them. And that was said by Carl Jung. Rather than being your thoughts and emotions, be the awareness behind them. And that was said by Eckhart Tolle. Now, I'm going to get into what these quotes mean in regards to emotional upcycling, which is what this episode's about today. Had I left those images hidden in the emotions, I might have been torn to pieces by them. Now, for me, all my emotions, they have deeper rooted things in there. Sometimes people don't delve that deep. I am angry. I am happy. I am sad. Why are you those things? Anger, for instance, is never a solo emotion. There's always other things in there. Like, I am angry. Well, why am I angry? I am angry because this person... let's just say they cut me off in traffic. Now, why am I angry that they cut me off in traffic? Because they put my life at risk. But when you start to break that down even further, am I okay? Well, yeah, I didn't get hurt. Then it just becomes about what you expected should happen. And granted, it's okay to get angry. It's totally okay to feel emotions. Some people will hold on to that stuff for a very, very long time. An instance of upcycling anger would be this experience I had last week. I was swimming, or I was going to swim. I was waiting for a lane to open in the pool. And this lane just opened up. Somebody had just gotten out of it. And right when I was about to jump in the pool, somebody just pops up out of the water. And they said, "I'm already here, bud," or something like that. I'm swimming here, pal. I was here first. And literally, they just materialized right as I was getting into the pool. They had already had a lane, but they had wanted this one so they could be isolated by themselves. Now, there's a time where I just would have unloaded on this dude. I couldn't even say anything because I was so flabbergasted that a man of his age, he was probably in his 60s or older, could act so childish. What I did though is I just went and I swam in the lane that was now open where he had been. And then some people that had witnessed this came up to me and were like, "Wow, I can't believe you acted like that. I would have unloaded on this guy." And my response was, I had to deal with this gentleman for 5 seconds. He has to deal with himself all day, and that's punishment enough. See, having had different experiences where I was angry and then reacting on it, and I realized that 9 times out of 10 what's going to happen if I feed into that anger or I react to somebody being a certain way with anger, I'm just going to get more pissed off. Like, it's not going to result. I'm not going to be like, "Oh, I feel better." He's not going to see my point of view. And it goes back to that whole saying, when you argue with a fool, you only prove that there's two. this dude in his mind was totally there first, so there's no way I could justify that. And that's one of the ways that I've upcycled old anger, by being in that state of mind. Like, it doesn't solve anything. There's a thing where it says in the 12-step program I'm in, it's anger is your reaction to the now, like expectations of what the now should be. So if you're driving along in a car and somebody cuts you off, your expectation is people shouldn't drive like that. They should know I'm there. They should have more respect for me. And I'm not saying that people shouldn't, but it's overlooking the reality that that's not the way that it is. And then if you focus on the situation of I'm safe, I'm okay, nothing happened, like, you can turn that into something to be grateful for. Well, I'm grateful nothing happened. And then if you think about how miserable those people must be to where they have to drive like that, like, think of the anxiety those people feel in that situation. Think of that, and then you can kind of diffuse it and be like, wow, their punishment is inherent in their behavior. And you can leave it at that. So for me, that's what finding those images hidden in the emotions means. It means breaking them apart and deciphering what they represent. I'm sad. Why am I sad? I'm sad because this object of my affection doesn't give me the attention that I feel I require. See, and then that breaks down to the concept, well, do you love this person? If you love them, then you accept them for who they are, and you have to realize that you're not the center of the universe, even if you're in a relationship with somebody. Like, this is something that I go through sometimes with people that I'm not even in a relationship with, different women that I like. I'll be like, wow, they're not giving me the attention that I want. That's my own issue. It has nothing to do with them. They might not even be thinking like, let's avoid Ross. They might just be thinking about, I need to do this in my life right now for me to be able to progress, or for me to be able to be happy, or for me to be able to hold on. And there's been so many instances in my life where I've let these images in my emotions stay dormant, stay hidden, and then reacting on those emotions, I perpetuate the things that I'm most concerned about occurring. So I actually bring about my own negative thing. And then I turn those emotions into trash, and then I shouldn't feel this way, blah, blah, blah. No, I should feel my emotions. By no means am I saying that you should never feel your emotions. You should. I want to say it was Brandon Beecham from the Positive Head podcast kind of compared to them like a GPS or something like that. I don't know where I heard it. But they navigate you to where you should be. If I'm feeling off in some way, it's telling me, it's emphasizing that there's a lesson here. And then by evaluating the nature of those emotions, I can determine what it is that I need to work on. Since anger is never a solo emotion, it really highlights to me that this is an area of extreme importance. And then after I get past the anger part of it and determine, am I angry because I'm sad? Am I angry because I feel less than? You know what I mean? Break it down like that, then I can get to the root image. Now, rather than being your thoughts and emotions, be the awareness behind them. And that's kind of the same concept yet again. My thoughts occur, some of them, without me thinking of it. I have to redirect the way that I think about things sometimes. I don't feel that that's unique to me, but being an addict and somebody who has a history of mental illness, those things are important for me to work on, because my thoughts can be a little bit peculiar at times, and my emotions can be a little bit strong sometimes. Being the awareness behind them means I'm able to see the bigger picture of them. I am looking at those hidden images in those emotions, yet again in that instance. So with emotional upcycling, like for example, the depression that I felt, or the fear that I felt in psychosis, all those things can be repurposed. I mean, sadness, depression can be repurposed into a sense of connection with other people. That's one of the things that I get from the 12-step program that I'm a part of. All these people that are in this program have been through emotionally trying times. And regardless of what specific circumstances or what specific substance they use, there's this connectivity between all of us based upon how we react to situations. There was a time when I was still out using and even on an early recovery where I felt that I was completely different than everybody. Nobody could understand me. I'm so complex. The reality is there's people out there, no matter where you're at mentally, that can connect with you in some capacity, because guess what? At the end of the day, we're human. So these things are intrinsic in humanity. They might not be expressed to the extremes or lack that some people show, but they're human traits, which is why we have them. And just like thoughts, like I think some crazy stuff still, even being almost coming up on 9 months clean and being in good mental health. I still think crazy stuff. I think that a lot of people do. I just don't think most people are comfortable enough to admit it. But I'm the awareness behind that. If I think something crazy, I'm like, well, that was a weird thought. That's not how I would normally think. That's something in my subconscious from something that I've learned along the way to how to respond to this. This isn't how I want to respond. And then I can consciously work on reprogramming that thought. Just like the emotion, wow, I'm so angry this person cut me off. When I break it down yet again, it goes back to, oh, okay, this is what this is about. Fear, for example. Fear was something that really crippled me in my life. I used to have extreme anxiety, especially in social situations. When I started speaking to police officers and stuff like that about my experiences last fall, I really had to get over that. One of the things that really helped me is the one mentor that I've worked with, Hope. She kind of told me at one point, what's the worst thing that can happen to you in this situation? Like, what's your biggest fear? And when it comes down to, like, they're not gonna throw stones at me or burn me at the stake like I'm a witch. They might think that I'm this, that, or the other, but that doesn't matter, because ultimately people's perception of me is a reflection of them. I mean, every emotion can be redirected. That energy that I used to spend fearing things can be repurposed. And it doesn't mean that I don't have any fear. Having some fear is healthy. Being controlled by fear is not. I mean, even happiness, for example. Happiness is a good feeling. At the same time, if you just focus on the happiness element of it sometimes, when you don't have that happiness, it can be difficult. If you try to upcycle happiness into meaning, then it can be more sustainable, or it can be reused in times when you don't have happiness. Because if it's just happiness, well, I'm not happy now, blah, blah, blah. But if you turn that happiness into meaning, I had a really good time with so-and-so, you know. That was a meaningful experience. It means something to me even after that original happiness from it has subsided. I think that I've really articulated this the best that I can. The main point is, take your emotions, whatever they may be, evaluate them, figure out where they stem from, respect that you feel that way, determine if this is going to be the best course of action to stay in that emotion. And the thing is, you're not going to stay in every emotion forever. If you feed into anger, you're going to be more angry. And I'm not saying to suppress these emotions either. I'm saying feel them, let them come, let them go. It's like the one quote that I did for I forget what thing it was for. It might have been one of the things that I pre-recorded for next month, but it said, let your thoughts come in and leave, just don't serve them tea. And that's absolutely where this is at. Be mad, evaluate where it's coming from, let it go, repurpose it into a lesson. Some of the most growth that I've gotten is from evaluating emotions and changing them into a different understanding of things. With that, I'm done. I created a Patreon account, so if you like what I'm doing, you can support more content, and you'll get more content, and you'll also get discounts on some of the services that I offer. I'm going to be updating those services sometime soon and create more opportunities for you to utilize some of the benefits you get from being a patron of this show. You can follow me on social media at Spiritual Phoenix. You can visit the website, thespiritualphoenix.com. I love, respect, and appreciate all of you. Love and light. Namaste. I'm going to put this episode on the pyre.
Don't believe. Don't follow. Do not consume. Do not watch. Largely what I'm talking about here is reclaiming experience. This is what's been taken from us. It's a self-advancing, self-expanding, self-defining process, and it takes no prisoners.
The real world isn't a spiritual world, it isn't a material world, it isn't an empty world, it isn't a solid world. It's simply